Welcome, guys and gals. Today, I have some exciting news. Jedi Knight Mysteries of the Sith 4.1 with the GFXMOD base is now out. So, what is the difference between the other one and the one that's already out? Well, this version goes back to the original backbone of the mod, which is the JKGFXMOD, the one that started it all, the one that made Jedi Knight into the 32-bit version. Now the Open Jedi makes it to the 64-bit version, and that's one of the bigger differences. But the models and the updated graphics and all that is pretty much all the same. In some ways, we are kind of going backwards. The benefit of that is it helps out those who are on the Windows 7 operating system who couldn't use the Open Jedi backbone. Also, those who maybe did have Windows 10 or 11 but couldn't get it to work can hopefully download this version and it will work for them. Now, some of the drawbacks, of course, is there's no in-game configurations. Goes back to the old .json configuration file, but it's really not that bad. Most everything else is pretty much the same. So let's get into this full configuration and installer showcase. So let's first, when you click on the link down below in the description, it should bring you directly to this page here. And all you have to do is just hit download here. So you just click on that. Again, this is just for the GFX version of the mod. So if you had trouble with the previous version, couldn't get it to work for some reason, or if you have Windows 7, perhaps, you probably weren't able to get the last version to work. But with this one, it goes back to the old method of the GFX mod, and basically eliminates that issue where it wasn't compatible with Windows 7, and if you did have a newer version of Windows but were having trouble getting it to work, then hopefully this version will help you get it working. So anyways, just click download. You can read the README file here, but that's not necessary because it's obviously in the downloads. Once you've got it downloaded, you should have a zip file, and you'll have to use, like, you know, Zip7 or WinRAR or some kind of unzipping program. Windows usually has some kind of unzipping program that you can use, and you'll just right click on the zip file and hit extract all. Once everything's extracted, you should see something similar to this, where you have the new music, you have part 1, part 2, and you have the README files and installation guides. I'd recommend opening up the installation guide first, so you can get yourself familiar with what you need to do. However, it is pretty simple. You just run the installers and it tells you what to do. So it is pretty simple, but I want to make it even simpler by providing you with a guide as well. So the first thing you're going to need is a legal copy of Mysteries of the Sith installed on your computer. If you don't have that, it's easy enough to get on Steam and Gog. So let's actually, and I even provided the links here, so you can just click on it. And right now it's only $3 on Steam, so not bad. And that's not even on sale. That's just the main price. So that's cool. You can get the entire Jedi Knight collection for $21, and you can get this huge Star Wars pack for $231. But you guys probably already have all these games anyways, so it doesn't matter. Let's go back to our guide, and you can also, if you don't care about Steam and you don't really like their kind of way of doing things, you can always go to GOG and download GOG version. And with the GOG version, you basically just buy Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, and it comes with Mysteries of the Sith included, I believe. It should, anyways. Let me see here. Yeah, Star Wars Dark Forces 2 and Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Mysteries of the Sith. It's a double pack. So, don't be deceived in thinking that you're only getting Dark Forces 2. You're getting both. You're getting Mysteries of the Sith and Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. So cool. It's a bundle pack, so that's why it's a little bit more. It's $6 instead of the normal, or instead of just the $3, which is still an awesome deal. So let's move on from there. Close that. So next, of course, we run the installers, and it doesn't matter what order we run them in. We just run them, and it kind of gives you a little bit more detail on what you do with the installer. And then we have a guide on how to get the Steam launcher working and the Gog Launcher working with the mod. So we can go over that later once we get it installed. And then of course, uninstalling the mod is super simple as well. All you have to do is either go to the local directory and uninstall there, or uninstall it from the control panel. And of course we'll go over that too. And then the music uninstalling, the music is even simpler. You just run the installer again, and this time you select install original music instead of the new music. So pretty simple. So let's get into this and see how to install. So I'm gonna go ahead and run part 1 first and go from there. So let's install part 1. Double click on it. May take a little bit to load. You'll get a graph that wants you to hit yes on allowing that. And here's the awesome part. You can now select your language. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 languages. And I believe in the next version we're gonna have more. But one of them is a funny, goofy language, hillbilly. It just makes everything more slang. It's still English, but it's all slangy and fun, so that's kind of a fun one to do if you want to do something a little bit more fun than just normal English. So yeah, if you click on these, notice the installer will change to different languages. So I'm gonna stick with English, obviously, since I speak English. Hit next. That just explains what's going to happen. You just keep going and you accept to the just a short disclaimer about, you know, hey, this is just a mod, it's not made by, it's not official and whatnot, and yeah, use at your own risk or whatever. You know the drill. This is the important part, and this is where you're actually going to have to put in some input, because you need to make sure that you are directing the installation to your Mysteries of the Sith directory, whatever that be, Steam, CD version, GOG version, or even if it's some other weird version that I don't know about. I have the CD, Steam, and GOG versions, and we're going to go over installing on each of those, but I don't have any other weird other versions that might be out there. There could be a Mysteries of the Sith sold by Origin or some other company, I guess. I don't have, but it's basically all the same steps. You find the Mysteries of the Sith main directory and you install it there, whatever version you have, or if you've installed it on in a custom folder somewhere, you need to find that custom folder and install it there. As long as it's the Mysteries of the Sith root directory, everything should work fine. Obviously, I have the Steam version defaulted here, and if you have the Steam version installed on a different drive, of course you're going to have to change that. But mine is actually on the C drive, believe it or not, right now, so I'm all set and ready. But I did want to go ahead and double check to make sure it actually was pointing to a real directory, because if it doesn't point to a real directory, it will create one, and you don't want to do that. It will not run without being in the main Mysteries of the Sith directory. Oh yeah, another thing you're going to want to do if you have old versions of the mod, I would uninstall those just in case. However, since this is the GFX version of the mod, if you have the Open Jedi 1 installed, it shouldn't affect it too much. However, there could be conflicts in terms of loading the mods and whatnot. So just keep in mind that it's a better idea just to have a clean install of Mysteries of the Sith, just in case, rather than trying to install the mod on top of the older mods, because this just you're just gonna have problems if you do that. So keep that in mind, and let's go ahead and move forward in the install. It will first remind you what folder it's going to install it, and then you just hit start and it will install part 1. Super easy, super simple. Don't have to know where to put things. Just an installer that knows exactly where to put everything, and that's all you got to do, basically. All right, it's installed. Let's do this thing. All right, once you install part 1, you can install part 2. Obviously, though, the order doesn't matter, so if you rather install part 2 first, have at it. Doesn't matter what order you install in, as long as you install both parts, you should be good. If you don't install part 2, you will not have any of the updated textures. Basically, part 2 just has literally just all the new updated GFX mod textures. That's basically all part 2 is. And it's basically, there's literally no difference between part 2 of Open Jedi version versus this version. I did update it though, because I wanted to update the icon, but literally nothing else has been changed texture wise between 4.1 versions of part 2 of this version versus Open Jedi version. So they're both the same, exact same thing. Don't quote me on that in the future for other future versions, because it could be different, because I know there are a few bugs, unfortunately, in this version that I saw and I was like, oh, that's wrong, or that texture isn't right. For example, the lightsaber burn texture in level 1, when you slice open the vents to get out, unfortunately, it's the wrong texture, and we'll probably go over that here soon once we do a gameplay footage of the game, of the mod. But so hopefully we can fix that in the future, and I'm guessing that's probably going to be a difference in part 2 versus part 1, considering. So I think what happened was, when we fixed all the issues when we had the Open Jedi version, it also there was a lot of differences between the Open Jedi and the GFX mod. The way that it loads the files may be a little bit different, I don't know. But for some reason, some of the textures are now messed up in the GFX version of the mod. So hopefully we can pinpoint all those issues for the next version and update those. All right, cool. Part 2 is installed. Next, we got the music installer. This is optional. Obviously, if you like the Star Wars, original Star Wars music, that's fine. You can keep that in there. But this will upgrade your music to the remastered, Dark Forces remastered music by, what's that guy's name? I have it in the README. Let's just open up the README file and we'll look at what the music is. Okay, here we go. So Clint, I'm gonna butcher this name. Backjanden and Richard Barrett Jr. created a Dark Forces remastered music pack that is phenomenal. You need to go check this guy out. Listen and just compare the old Dark Forces music to his, and oh my gosh, it is so good. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna put this music in here because it is awesome. It is so good. So that's why I replaced a lot of the tracks with the Dark Forces music, of course, because, and what's great about it too is they're not, apparently they're not copyrighted. So since he changed them up enough to where they're not really copyrighted, I guess. So it doesn't really show up, except for, of course, the one that I created, the Mara Jade theme. That one is copyrighted under, and that is, well, actually, let's open that back up. Where that, close that actually. Yeah, let's go back down, and that is track number 6. So if you are, of course, streaming this game and you still kind of want the music, but you don't want to get copyright striked, then you can just delete track 6 and replace it with the older track. So that way you won't, well, if you put the older track in, you'll still get copyright strike because the Star Wars music. So just replace it with some copyright free track, but it does have to be the same name, and it has to be .gog. Okay, so yeah, if you are a streamer and you want to stream this mod and you still want music, a lot of these music tracks are copyright free on the new music, but except for this one, of course. So you can replace that one if you want in the folder, and we can go over that later. Or here, I guess I can show you real quick now. Yeah, here we go. We have the Mysteries of the Sith. Wait a minute, what's this? Oh yeah, we just installed it. That's right. I was like, why is this installed already? I thought I uninstalled it, but so yeah, if you click into the music folder, here's all the tracks. So all you have to do is, yeah, here we go. Mara Jade. I already have it installed, of course. So, and it actually tells you which one it is. Mara Jade theme by General Tantor. Cool. And of course, not all the music has been replaced, so you still will have a few Star Wars songs here and there that will, well, during the gameplay part, all those tracks have been replaced. These other songs are playing during like cutscenes and stuff like that, so that's why those ones are left alone. So yeah, if you want copyright-free song, the only one you need to replace is this Mara Jade theme, and then you should be pretty much set. The other ones will be during the cutscenes, so you'll have to kind of figure it out there. But yeah, so just replace this one, make it a .ogg file, and replace and rename it track 06, and just put it in here, and it will replace that song with a non-copyrighted free song. You can do that same thing with the rest of these songs too, technically. And then you don't have to worry about muting the music in the menu as a streamer. You can just stream the game without having to mute the music. So that's a good idea for you guys. And maybe in the future, in future versions, I could do like a full copyright-free set of songs that you can just install with a installer, and you won't have to worry about doing it yourself or whatever. But anyways, that's that. Let's go ahead and install. Let me show you how to install the music. Where's my folder here? Oh, I went inside of it. Okay, there we go. So to install the new music, all you have to do is just double click on our music installer. Oh, there it is. Got hidden down here. And then all you have to do is click on new music and click next, and it will just tell you what tracks to install. Click next and make sure it's hitting your Mysteries of the Sith root directory and hit start, and it will install that music. Say that you're like, oh no, I don't like that music, I don't want that music. All you have to do is double click on the optional music pack again, make sure it's on original, hit next, and find your root directory, hit next again and start, and it will install the original tracks, so you don't have to worry about. So if you want to default back to the original music, just run the installer again and make sure you have original music selected. I'm not going to do that because I want the new music, so I'm just going to exit out of that. Okay, there we go. It's installed. It's ready to go. So let's minimize our folders here, and here we go. We got our shortcuts ready to go, and now we're on the configuration steps. So to configure the mod, it's a little bit different than the Open Jedi version. So if you're used to the Open Jedi versions, then this will be a little bit different for you, that you'll have to definitely open up the guide first before you launch the game. So let's open up the guide and find that, of course, first of all, it's going to talk to you about the in-game cutscenes. And to run the game with the in-game cutscenes, you have to start the game with the Mysteries of the Sith Plus version, not the Mysteries of the Sith normal. It has to be the Plus version. So that's just what that's saying. So as far as configurations are concerned, there's no in-game configurations, unfortunately, with this version, which is a minor drawback of this version. So to configure the game, it's telling us to open this configurations shortcut, and that is right here. So all you have to do is double click on that. It will open up this .json file in a notepad. And here we go. This is all you need to configure your game properly. Now be careful in this, because if you accidentally delete this, for example, you delete that semicolon, that will completely mess up the configurations and the game will not launch. So be careful changing things in here, because one mistake and your game will not launch. So I'm going to go over each one of these configuration items, and so that way you can get it configured properly. The first item obviously is your screen resolution. So you have a 1080p resolution. All you have to do is put that in here. If you have something larger, put that in. To find that out, what your resolution is, if you don't know it, if you right click on the computer and click Display Settings. And I believe this will work for Windows 7 too. If you right click Display Settings, it will open up. But might be a little bit different looking for yours, but to find your resolution, you just come down here and it will show you what resolution you're set at. Also, another, since we're here, if you have scaling up more, you need to make sure you put your scaling on 100%, because if you have it on 125, 150, 175, it will not work correctly. So you need to make sure you put it on 100%. As I'm not sure exactly what happens. I don't remember what happens, but I do remember it doesn't work very well. I think it might be like zoomed in or something, or maybe it doesn't launch, or I don't know, something. I think it explains that here in the configuration guide. So let's actually scroll down and take a look. Here it is. Okay. So it says, yeah, make sure your scale is at 100%. If it's higher, that will cause issue. It will cause an issue with the resolution. So yeah, it basically just zooms the screen in, and you can't load the mod, and it's terrible. I guess we could try it out to see what happens, but I don't want to do that. So we don't have to do that. So. But anyways, yeah, let's scroll back up to our configurations. So yeah, is a lot of configurations that we have to do, but once you find out what they are, it's not really that bad. So here we go. The next thing is full screen mode. So this, if you put it on false, it will have your screen, it will have a black bar on each side of your screen. Let's see, where's that at? Yeah, so here in game, if you want it more like square-like, you can turn, or you can make this false and it will be more square-like. Or if you rather have it full screen, obviously you can make it full screen. And the same thing with the game menus, same thing. And then of course HUD scaling, you might have to experiment with HUD scaling to see where you want it at. And that the HUD scaling is basically just your health and your ammo and your force power and all that stuff. If you the thing that holds that, yeah, this little thing here. So, and then of course we have the this other stuff. You can read all about this stuff in here. It tells you exactly what each thing is and what it isn't and what it does. And all that jazz. So you can read this configuration guide and it will tell you exactly what each thing does. But the most important one on the list, you want that? The most important one on the list, other than of course the resolution, is of course how you launch the game. So this is super important. So we have each one of these exe files, and each one of them has a certain point of, or what's it called? Field of view. Yeah, FOV. So FOV versus without FOV versus, and this screenshot's pretty good example of what it does. So without FOV, you can't barely see your gun. It's kind of hidden down there. Without the fix, you just have it as default. And then with FOV 120, you can see your gun and it's really wide and everything else. So if you have a super wide monitor display, you probably want to use the FOV 120, which I am going to go ahead and do that. So in order to do that, you need to look at this shortcut and copy it exactly how it is. If you're worried about not copying it exactly, I recommend going here and opening this folder in this folder's location, and then you have each one of these right here. Right click on the one that you want. So I'm going to go with the FOV 120, click rename, and click copy that, and be sure to be careful not to rename it, because if you rename it, then it'll, obviously it won't work. So you copied the name properly, and then you come right here and paste it in, keeping the .exe portion, because you have to have the .exe portion or it won't load correctly. And then, of course, last but not least, this last VRAM texture preload size. By default, it's set to 0, but if you are struggling with the mod and it's very sluggish and slow, you may want to try to add values to this, because let me scroll down to that part. Exit out of that now. Let's scroll down to that part. Yeah, so here it talks about FPS issues. Some people have issues with the mod being sluggish, and in the past I've recommended downloading this Rivatuner program, and you can do it that method if you want, but we also now have the VRAM texture preload size entry that you can put values in order to preload the texture pack, which I'm not sure where. Bless you, little man. I'm not sure exactly where do I explain what values to put in. I guess I didn't put that in. Oh yeah, I did. Here we go. So here we go. New shuttering during gameplay fix. All you have to do is put 1024. You can put whatever value in, I guess, but I would recommend starting off with 1004, just so that way it won't take as long to load. So when you do this, the game will take a while to launch, but the benefit of waiting for it to launch is that it will preload all the textures in the background, causing you to not have that shuttery issue. Now, obviously, if that still doesn't work for you, I would recommend downloading the Rivatuner program, and you can actually restrict the frames per second on your certain exe file. So if you're using the FOV 15, for example, or the no FOV, you can load that into the Rivatuner and then restrict the frames per second to be 60, for example, or 30, or whatnot. You just kind of have to experiment. I think back in the day, it was actually, if you needed to actually restrict it to 30 frames per second in order for it to work good. That's what I had to do on my computer back in the day when I had Windows 7 old school computer. I can't believe Windows 7 is now old school, but yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, guys, that's the configurations. Once you are ready and you're satisfied with what you got, you just hit file save, and it will save those configurations for you. And shoot, I don't know if you need a comma after that 0, not. Or hold on. Let's see. I think it might. Nope. Guess not. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't remember if there was a comma after that number or not. So hopefully it will load okay. I guess we're going to find out pretty quickly if it doesn't work. So here we go. Let's go ahead and launch the game and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and we're going to go ahead and launch the game. Launch the game, obviously, with the shortcut. And there we go. We're in the game. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the JKGFXMOD test that I created. You will probably want to create a new player. This is a completely different version, and you probably want to create a new player for each version of the game that you're playing, just because of the drastic differences between them. Your save files and your player files are going to be in conflict if you create. So I would just create a new player, because it's probably just going to corrupt your saves if you don't, or cause other problems, who knows. So let's just hit you hit new player. I already have this player, so I'm just gonna select that one and hit OK. One other thing that you have to do before you hit play, go to setup and hit display, and make sure you have enable 3D acceleration selected. If you don't have this selected, it will not load your resolution correctly, and it will not it will not work. Also, another thing is your view size. Make sure it's 1 tick from the max, because if it's not 1 tick from the max, then it will not work. Another thing, you want to uncheck back buffer in system memory. I think I found out in the past that if you have that checked, it will cause your saves to get corrupted or something. So keep that unchecked as well, and if all that is all good and set, then you're good to go. Click OK, and then click OK again, and we're ready. So let's go ahead and get in there. And I don't know if you can hear anything or not. Let me see. Oh wait, why can't you see the... Okay, there we go. Yep, you can hear. Okay. So here we go. We're in the menu. We want to select the Mysteries of the Sith Plus version and hit OK. It will launch the first cutscene.
Excellent, Mara. You're becoming very adept at using the Force to anticipate my actions. Someday that insight may save your life.
What's going on?
Captain Guitar, report to ops immediately! Captain Guitar, report to ops immediately!
Commander, what's the situation?
It's still so hard to believe that we actually pulled it off
and thought they'd break up on
and
contact.
got these
We became
cutscenes
alarmed when they
upgraded.
took up a
This is so
geosynchronous
cool.
orbit and began bombarding our shields. They appear to be some sort of new
So
Imperial weapons, disguised as asteroids to take us by surprise.
Looks like they were successful.
It's not something you typically see in an asteroid.
Sir, our long-range outpost on Delta 3 has picked up an Imperial strike force entering hyperspace. Using their last known course and speed, we estimate they will arrive within 3 hours.
We can't get our evacuation shuttles off the ground with those asteroids pinning us down. And once the primary force arrives, we're done.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the cutscene for now, because, you know, I've already listened to those quite a bit. And I've put that first one on the channel a lot. So first thing you're gonna want to do, actually, too, is you might want to turn the music down a bit. Oh, I already had it down. And then of course I need to move my character up here. There we go. Hi, there we go. My character's back on top. I had to move it. Oops. There we go. So here we go. Cool. Now let's play some Jedi Knight. Mysteries of the Sith Remastered. All right.
Imperial troops have entered the base. Repeat, Imperial troops have entered the base.
Look with me here. Alright. Watch out, Kai. You're gonna hit your head on my microphone. Okay.
Kyle, we need you to close the blast doors in the north hangar.
Right. Will do. Is this it? Oh, it's closing, sir. You didn't want your blankie.
It's no good. A TIE bomber has blown the door.
There's your blankie. Alright, let's... Oh yeah? Take that. I can't believe Kyle just wasted an A-wing. Let's destroy an A-wing, a perfectly good A-wing to kill 2 stormtroopers. That's such a waste. I'm the one that did it though, I guess. Oh no! I hate it when it switches to the blaster. There we go. Let's waste a perfectly good A-wing on killing... Yeah, lightsaber. Let's waste a perfectly good A-wing on killing 2 stormtroopers. That seems like a good use of rebellion funds. Ah, I'm gonna die. Jeez, come on. Oh my gosh, I'm dead. Yep. Whoops. Okay, well, you guys get the gist. Actually, wait, let's focus a little bit better on this, and... Focus on weakness.
It's no good. A TIE bomber has blown the door.
Actually, let's just skip. Oh, we don't have to. We don't have to do all that. Let's just skip that part.
We need your help back in ops. They've got us pinned down.
What do you need now? Alright, so this was what I was talking about before, like the texture is all messed up here. Don't know why, we'll have to figure it out in the next version, but I didn't have time to look into it, so we'll just have to deal for now. At least you guys have this version, so you can... You have Windows 7 users. You can now play with updated text updated cutscenes and all that jazz. So, coolio. Get out of the way, Rebel. Scout Trooper. That Scout Trooper model is so good. The Stormtrooper models are epic as well, but Man, that Scout Trooper model is good. Oh yeah, I don't think I got the key. I think it's in one of these things, isn't it? Scout Trooper. Alrighty. Okay, well, that's good enough gameplay-wise. I think you guys got a taste. And I did test out all the cutscenes. They did work on this version of the game, so should be good there. But let me know if there's any other bugs like that lightsaber slash bug. So hopefully in the next versions we can kind of smooth that over. But let's go ahead and abort and quit. And yeah, we'll go ahead and oh, hold on. Why is it doing that? Close that out, maybe. There we go. All right, we're back on the home page, and let's go ahead. We'll show you how to uninstall the mod. Actually, wait, hold on. Steam Launcher. How do you get it to run with the Steam Launcher? Obviously, you need to open up your installation guide. Scroll down to the Steam Launcher guide. Follow these steps, and we're going to go ahead and do these steps anyways. So let's, since we have the Steam version installed already, let's open up our folder location. Okay. So now we just need to rename, or first we need to rename the Jedi exe to old. So let's hit rename on that. First we'll copy that, and then we'll rename it old. And then we'll go to the inject.exe file, rename that to Jedi M. There we go. And that's it, basically. Now let's launch Steam. Launch our Steam launcher. Library. Sith. Remastered, and all we have to do is click play, and we should be good to go. Should launch the game in the remastered mod. Oh yeah, on, and there we go. Yep, cool. It launched it. It launched the remastered version. So that's all you have to do for that, get it on the launcher. And then of course, as you can see, I have this custom art pack that you can download to change these out. And to change those out, you just have to right click, clear custom, and then upload those art packs to your heart's content. And I have videos on how to change those out if you're interested in that, so you can click on that there to do that. So cool. Yeah, so let's uninstall it and install it on the GOG version next and go from there. So to uninstall the game or the mod, there's a couple methods. I'm going to show you the first method here with the Steam version by right-clicking here, and you go to open folder location, find the little stormtrooper icons that say uninstall part 1, part 2, and just double click on each one of those, uninstalled, and click on the other one, uninstall. Oh yeah, and then of course you're gonna want to if you did do the Steam launcher doohickey thing, you're gonna want to you're going to want to delete the inject file and rename back your original exe file, so that way it will launch correctly with the original version. So once that's done, and then if you want the original music back in, you just run that music installer and put the original music back in. Original music, and next, install, whatever. So good there. So let's go ahead and install this on the Gog version. I'm going to double click on our part 1. And let's go ahead, let's do something fun. Let's do the Hillbilly installation. Just to see how that goes. So Hillbilly, next. And then we'll go to find our Gog version of the game. So the Gog version of the game could be in a couple different places. My version, for example, is in the Gog Galaxy, because I have the Gog Galaxy launcher. So it's in the Gog Galaxy folder. So it's under... Oh wait, actually I don't have Gog installed on the main drive. So this is an example if you have the Gog version installed on, for example, some kind of game drive. You'll just have to find your version of the game wherever it's at. So inside Gog Galaxy folder, then you have to just go to games, and there it is, Mysteries of the Sith. And I don't think I have anything installed there. It looks like I do actually have the game installed there. I think I might have it manually installed, but that's okay. I'll just install over everything because it's manually installed on there. That should be fine, hopefully. But yeah, it looks like I have everything manually installed in there. So let's just go ahead and install after we find the location of our Gog folder. Yeah, the main thing that you just need to make sure that you install in the Mysteries of the Sith root directory. So, and then of course, uninstall any other versions of the game because it may cause conflict. And that's that. All right, cool. It's done. Hit exit. And then you want to install part 2. Again, part 2 is... Oh, wait. We need to change that to the Gog version. Whoops, that would have been bad. Gog Galaxy, Gog Games, and... Oh, not Jedi Academy. Mysteries of the Sith. Start. And install. But yeah, so this is just the texture pack. So there's nothing really different between the texture pack of this version versus the Open Jedi version. So there's that. But wait for it to install and we'll go from there. installed. And then of course the music pack. Gotta get the music pack installed. I'm gonna put the new music in, and we're going to install it in our GOG directory. So that game drive, games, GOG. Of course, your directory is going to be completely different than what my GOG directory is at, because I have mine installed on a G drive, or an E drive actually. E drive, GOG games, GOG Galaxy. So it's just wherever you installed your main root directory, that's where you need to go. So hit start on that, and boom, music in. So now we go back and we have our files here again, our shortcuts. But instead of doing the shortcuts on the desktop, we're going to show you that you can actually have, we actually have shortcuts in the start menu as well. You can scroll down to your Mysteries of the Sith Remastered, Star Wars Mysteries of the Sith Remastered folder. And there you go, you have all three of the, or all four things. So let's go ahead and we'll open up our configurations here. And I just need to make that small change to the FOV, and we should be all set. So I'm gonna do my open folder method and copy the right one that I want. So what I'm doing here is I'm selecting the FOV version of the mod. Field of view is what it stands for, and it basically just means that here, I'll show you guys. You guys are on the GOG version, but I showed the people on the Steam version the configuration guide and went through it pretty thoroughly. So if you need a thorough look at the configuration guide, go click down in the description, and I have a full chapters guide on how to do that. But I am going to quickly show you the FOV stuff. So this is the difference between the FOV, no FOV versus 110 FOV versus 120 FOV. 110 FOV is not an example on here, but it's a little bit smaller than the FOV 120. So you just have to experiment and see which one works better for you. But yeah, let's go ahead, close out of those. And so yeah, if you don't want FOV, that's perfectly fine, but do not do it from the original exe file. You need to have an upgraded exe file, so that's why I have these other exe files here, and I even include the no FOV version, and that is by default, that is the default one. But I want FOV 120, so I'm going to paste that in here. Be sure to keep everything else the same, the quotes, the commas, all that stuff. If you mess anything else other than what's within the quotes here, you will mess up the game. But you can change these, of course, these values to true or false, depending on what your needs are. If you don't know what any of these are, that's fine. Just consult the configuration guide, and it will tell you what each one of these things do. One of the main ones up here are the resolution, of course, and then aspect ratio. You're probably going to want to do full screen, but you can determine that for yourself. And then, of course, HUD scaling, you're probably going to have to do some experimentation on that. But again, a lot of that was explained earlier in the video, so if you want to go back and listen to that, where I go over every item in the configuration, you can do that. But once you're satisfied, go ahead and click save as, or not save as, save, and it will save over. And there you go. Now we're ready to launch the game. So let's go ahead and launch it within GOG version. So let's take a look. There we go. Cool. And oh yeah, here we go. We got the hillbilly text. Pick a fella. Yep. And then fixing up. So go to the fixing up menu first before anything else. And we need to click on display. Make sure you have turn on 3D fast step turned on, because otherwise your resolution won't work. Make sure you have a tick right before maximum, so that way that will work right. And then you need to turn off back buffer in system memories, because that will mess up your save games. And if all that's ready and good, then you can just hit yep and we'll get on into it. Yep. And start new game, and you're gonna want to click on the Mysteries of the Sith Plus version, so that way these cutscenes will start correctly. And there we go, it's working. So let's go ahead and hush hush, stuff found. What in the world? Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and then of course the things look all weird. I think give up is what I need to click on. There we go. So yeah, if you want to have a little bit of fun, you can do the hillbilly text. Hillbilly text and have some fun. What are you doing, Kai Kai? Am I a hillbilly?
No.
No, I'm a hillbilly.
No.
No. Alright, let's quit this. Okay. And put that back. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's uninstall it, but this time I'm going to uninstall using the control panel, so you can know how to do that method. So right click here, or search for control panel. Go to your uninstalled programs, uninstall programs and features, and here it is right on the top, so that's cool. Star Wars Mysteries of the Sith Remastered 4.1 and Part 1 and Part 2. So we'll go ahead and uninstall both those. Part 1's uninstalled, icons are gone, and uninstall Part 2. There we go. And then of course, to uninstall the music, just run the music installer again. And we'll go ahead and do it this time, since I don't really use the GOG version. So navigate to your GOG folder again. Select your Mysteries of Sith drive and hit install. And that will install the original music onto your system. And there we go. Everything is completely cleaned out. You've completely uninstalled the mod, and everything's all done. Ah, darn it. I forgot to do the Gog Launcher instructions. But honestly, it's not that hard. Just consult the configuration guide here. I'll just show you what you need to do in the configuration. Or wait, no, it's not the configuration guide. It's the installation guides. Whoops. So install the installation guide. Scroll down to where it says GOG Galaxy Launcher. Open up your GOG Galaxy Launcher. Go to Installed Games. Click on Mysteries of the Sith icon. At the top, click on this icon. scroll down to Installation, click Configure, Features tab. Under Parameters, launch Custom / Argument Box. Scroll down, click on another executable argument, navigate to your root directory, select the inject.exe, press Open, and this will add to your list of executables. Now you just need to label that one as the default. It will default it, and then click OK, and then it will launch the game with the remastered version. And then, of course, I have another optional art pack that you can download for the GOG version of the game. So, cool. So, it's really not that hard. Sucks that we didn't go over that, but it is what it is. Let's move on. This is already an hour long, so let's move on to the CD version. Shall we, little man? Oh. No, juice? Huh? No? Okay. Alright, let me see if I have the CD version installed, and then we'll go from there. I don't know if I even have it installed or not. Maybe. I do have it installed. Cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the CD version, and we'll go from there. Cool. So, whoops, I closed out of that. There we go. Cool. Alright, so if you have the CD version of the game, you actually need to, well, hopefully you already know how to install it properly and all that jazz, but let's go ahead and install this on the CD version. So let's go ahead and do it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's try a different language just to see how it goes. So I'm gonna try German. So let's go ahead and install this. Ja, let's install it. Remastered mode. Alright, so let's go. So yeah, obviously if you go to another version in a different language, you will have a different language displayed. You just have to click through, and then you need to find your version of the game, your root directory. So ours is in LucasArts Mysteries of the Sith. Once you've selected that, just install it. Here we go. And then I think I might have to do that, but I'm not sure. We'll have to figure it out once we get there. Takes a while to install. Huh, not too bad. Done. So then you just exit out, run the Part 2 installer. Now the Part 2 installer will be in English, but it will run on all the different languages. So Part 2, don't worry if you don't have a language selector. It will install. It installed your language with version 1, or with Part 1. Oh wait, I'm installing it in the wrong folder there. This art. Almost installed it in the Steam version. Whoops. Almost there. $7 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Drink some orangey juice. Yeah, in a minute, bud. Let me get this done first. We're almost done. We're almost there. We're at the finish line. We're installing it on the CD version, and then we're gonna be done, son. Okay, cool. And then, of course, the music pack as well. If you want that, that's optional, of course. Change that to LucasArts, Mysteries of Sith. And install. Perfect. And again, now we have the configurations and all that jazz. If you're here and you have the CD version, I'm going to recommend going down to the description and finding the configuration setup that I go over in detail each element of the configuration, but I'm just going to do like a little short version of it here. So if you skipped to the CD installation, go back to the configuration setup in the chapters down below, and I'll tell you in detail a lot about the configurations. But in order to just get going real quick, I'm going to open up my file location, copy my version of the FOV that I want. So each one of these needs to launch the game in the configuration setup. So I'm copying this one because I want it to load in the FOV 120. And then we just open up our configurations. We don't have in-game configurations. We have to rely on these this .json file for our configurations. So I'm just going to right click here and paste in my preferred exe file that's already been updated. Hit save, and then we can launch the game. And launch the game. Oh, it's still not working. So I don't know what's going on, but obviously, hopefully your version will work. Oh, wait, hold on. I wonder if I missed this. Everything's good there. But it's in German, so I don't even know what's I don't even know what it's complaining about. But anyways, hopefully your version will work. If it doesn't, then we'll have to troubleshoot from there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, that's how you install the game. That's the installer showcase. So thank you so much for watching to the very end. If you watch the whole thing, that's awesome. It really helps the channel. Obviously give this video a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more, because I got more versions and more updates and more videos coming soon. So we'll see you guys on the next one.
Do not fail me, General.
I won't, Lord Vader. Of course, sir. I understand.